Hey guys, this is Mark Goldberg from Mark Vlogs Watches. Thank you so much for joining me today. What a glorious and beautiful day it is out here in suburban Chicago. I thought I would just sit out here on the deck, roast a little bit in the sun, and talk to you guys about Rolex Supply and what is happening. Guys, hint, if you don't want to watch the whole video, it's crashing. I mean, it is boing, crashing and burning. But of course, we'll talk about some details and my thoughts, and we'll get into yours as well after a little bit. But before we jump into the meat and potatoes of this kettle of fish, let's do the quick fist watch check. You know what to do. I sure would appreciate it if you throw a like on this video, and please subscribe so we can do it again together. Today, guys, I am wearing a G-Shock, and I'm a little excited about it because I have a new one incoming that I will make a video for you on. Finally got one of those colorful special edition ones. But that is not the topic of our video today. I digress. We are here today to talk about Rolex. Rolex Supply, crashing, burning, hitting the skids. Here's the thing, guys. Rolex has been in very short supply for a long time, even before the worldwide situation that we have going on right now. And of course, the situation hasn't made it any better because Rolex, last year about this time closed down. Actually, last year at the beginning of all this nonsense, so call it March. They closed down, I think, for about a solid 6 or 8 weeks. And of course, that put them behind on production. But they've been open for quite a while now. Theoretically running at full capacity. And so there really is no logical explanation for what is happening now. So before we talk about the why, let's, kind of wrap up the what. Supply, where is it? There is none. Now, an AD that I know well and that I trust, who will remain nameless for the purposes of this conversation, told me that they are receiving very, very few shipments, fewer than normal, from Switzerland, from Rolex, and also too, that the composition of those shipments is also less than normal. So they are getting fewer shipments, and the shipments they are receiving are skimpier, especially when it comes to the steel sports stuff. They are receiving a bit more of the two-tone and a bit more of the precious metal, very, very few of steel sports. And they really don't have the ability to order anything. Used to be they could say, hey, to the rep, get me this, get me that, get me the other. I got customers waiting for this stuff. And then there was a reasonable chance that they would get that stuff, but something happened, and the reps aren't really explaining it to them. But the reality is that if you are an AD right now, you just take what you can get. Now, before we talk more about the Rolex Supply, let me just deviate a little bit and talk about that AD situation. Because I know that a lot of you Rolex collectors get really irritated with Rolex, but then the question becomes, are you agitated with Rolex, the factory who makes this stuff and ships it out to their ADs, or are you annoyed with the AD themselves? And there's room, I guess, either way. First, you got to remember the AD doesn't control what they get. That's what I was just telling you about. They are very frustrated because they can't get the watches that you want to buy from them. And the reality of it is that they've got really high overhead. Every single AD is a bricks and mortar operation. Every AD is required to not only carry whatever inventory that Rolex wants to ship them on the one hand, but also on the other hand, the AD is required to maintain very, very prime real estate, a very heavy advertising budget, marketing. They've got to buy fixtures, which they buy specifically from Rolex to house the watches. So let's just say like this, it's an expensive proposition to be an AD. You are going to spend money before you are going to make money. And if you are receiving a lot of inventory from Rolex, then you'll be able to sell a lot. But if you're receiving almost nothing, too bad. You still have to spend money on billboards and fixtures and rent and advertising and all that sort of stuff, whether Rolex is supplying you or not. So I'm sure it is a frustration to be an authorized distributor. Now, that being said, some of these guys are not playing by the rules. The rules are that you will sell to customers, legitimate end users. And I think it's pretty well known that there are some ADs who are selling directly into the gray market, or are just finagling things by charging prices that they are not supposed to charge and selling them to people they're not supposed to selling them to. There's a lawsuit going on in the Chicago district right now over such things. And I think we've heard so much of that happening in Asia, because if you look at the Asia gray market, it's just filled with all the desirable Rolexes that none of us can get our hands on. Look, I know that this happens, but I think it's a minority of the ADs, and in fact, it's the ones who are willing to risk their distributorship. The majority of these guys, especially the relatively small family-owned authorized dealers, I think are, the ones I know and do business with anyway, are super careful not to violate the rules. Okay, so does it happen? Yeah, sure. We absolutely know it does, but it doesn't take but a few apples to spoil the whole barrel. That's for sure. I really think that the primary problem lies in Rolex, Geneva, Switzerland, the manufacturer. Okay, these are the guys who make the watches, ship the watches, and determine who's getting what. And right now, they have just cranked the screws down so that there is a teeny tiny dribble coming out. And of course, I think that that's actually part of the reason why that some of the authorized distributors are just going, we got payroll, we got this, we got that, or we got greed, whatever it is. And then some of them start violating the rules because making money the legitimate way has become so hard for them. But what's driving this? You know, to a certain extent, I've been saying for years that Rolex is trying to supplant Patek Philippe in terms of exclusivity and even price. So look, here's one theory that I have. It could be that Rolex is tightening down supply preparatory to a big price increase, and then all of a sudden supply will get better. The AD doesn't control the price. Rolex controls the price. So it could be that they're just trying to drain all their ADs of inventory, hit everybody with a 20% price increase, and then resupply them. You know, that absolutely could happen. It's just a theory. Oh, guys, I should say that what my AD that I was telling you about revealed with that shortage in what's happening with the shipments, I have heard from subscribers all over the world, multiple countries, your ADs are telling you the same stuff, okay? So I'm not taking this whole situation with Rolex shipping almost nothing. I'm not taking that on the word of one authorized distributor. That's coming out of ADs all over the world right now. If you have information on that, please hit me in the comments with that. If you've got secret sources, if you are a secret squirrel and you want to tell me something from the inside about Rolex, let me know. I will protect your identity. But so the price increase theory, that's definitely one reason Rolex might be doing this. There's one possible theory that I have thought of that I would like to float that could be even more nefarious, more dastardly, nastier, meaner, more, you know, that could ultimately have a lot more impact. It could be that Rolex has just decided to open up all their own boutiques all around the world. You know, they've done this in a couple places, and the rumor is they're doing one in Chicago. That is a company-owned boutique, right? Various brands have done that. Breitling has done that. In fact, Breitling has some special editions that are boutique only. Tudor, I want to say, has done that with with the bronze Black Bay 58. I think that is Tudor boutique only, but I don't think there are any Tudor boutiques. Pretty sure there are not any Tudor boutiques here in the United States, which means however many of you will be able to buy a bronze Black Bay from a boutique. You won't be getting it out of the United States. You'll be getting it out of Asia or Europe, wherever they have their boutiques. If you know where those are, please tell me in the comments. Look, guys, here's the end game. Rolex is taking much more control over their distribution if they build a whole bunch of boutiques. The only part that doesn't fully make sense to me is why would they want to completely break their loyal, traditional distribution chain? Why would they want to like bankrupt all these people in order to open their own boutiques? Are they that heartless? Some people would say the Swiss absolutely are. I couldn't tell you, but what I do know is if you want to buy a Rolex right now at retail, holy cow, you're going to have a terribly difficult time of it. Now, in the comments, I would like you to tell me, have you recently bought anything at MSRP at an AD? And if so, how did that happen? Are you a great customer there? Were you one of those lucky few that won the lottery and just walked in there and lucked into a Rolex? I've been on the wait list with an AD who likes me and will fulfill the order as soon as they legitimately can. But I've been on the wait list for that Panda Daytona for about 2 years almost now. Well, legit, more like a year and a half. Just feels like 2 years, guys. So when you're waiting for something, it's annoying. But the problem is they just haven't been able to fill the order. They want to, they just can't. And eventually, as they tell me, the Rolex gods will smile and the order will come in. But buying a steel sports Rolex today, or even a gold one, which I'll talk about real quick in a second, is it's like hitting the lottery with the Powerball number. It's an unlikely scenario, which pushes everybody over to the gray market or to Chrono 24. And as you know, the prices have just been going, nuts. As supply has shrunk, prices have climbed. It's a really frustrating situation if you're in the market right now. Okay, gold. Here's the deal. My AD is telling me what little gold they get flies right off the shelf. They can't keep it in stock. It used to be you could count on getting 5, 10, even 15% discount off of a gold Rolex. Not anymore, fellas. It isn't going to happen. We are in uncertain and inflationary times, and gold has always been seen as a hedge against inflation. So precious metal, in terms of watches, has been climbing at a rate that's difficult to explain and really understand. I mean, I don't necessarily think Rolex is an investment, but lately, get your hands on a gold one. You can't even do that. I was very lucky and lucked into a gold piece right before the the craziness started. And as you know, that's my 40 millimeter gold Submariner. It is a thing of beauty, but on the secondary market now, it is going for above MSRP. And that is unusual, okay? Because not all that long ago, gold always sold for a bit less used. What can we do? Guys, it's crazy. Talk to me in the comments. Is it a worldwide conspiracy? What do you think? Let's talk this one out a little bit more in the comments. Remember, subscribe. This is Goldberg. Peace out.
Paint the sky.